Hi guys, I'm Jayshree. Thanks for joining me for this tutorial where I'll show you how to make this crochet drawstring bag with these polka dots. Now this bag measures 16 inches widthwise and lengthwise, so that's 16 inches or around 41 centimeters. Now for this project you will need yarn, and I'm using a cotton yarn in a double knit category 3 light worsted weight. So now you'll see that I use this beige for my base color throughout the bag, and then for the polka dots I changed my colors here, and for these as well they were cotton yarns in the same weight, a double knit light worsted category 3 yarns. So make certain that for both the base color and the polka dots, the weight of yarn is the same. Now you may go ahead and make this without the polka dots. That's really up to you. Whichever way you choose to do it is fine. I also used a 3mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors. I used a measuring tape. Now you'll see on the inside of this bag, I went ahead and lined the bag. So for the lining, you'll need fabric. Now any good quality cotton fabrics will work fine, just as long as they aren't flimsy. You'd like to add some body to this bag. So yes, 100% cotton fabrics will work perfectly fine for lining this bag. I went ahead and hand stitched the lining to the bag. I found that when I did it by sewing machine, it sort of puckered a bit too much on the crochet. So I just thought rather hand stitch, and that's what I did. So for that you'll need needle and thread. You will need pins to sort of place your lining in, get your lining in place with the bag. And then you need a measuring tape to measure on your lining. You'd need a larger hook to help with these little tassels that I made along the drawstrings. So that's about it. And yes, you need stitch markers as well. Sorry, maybe about 4 stitch markers just to get your straps into place. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get ahead with this tutorial. This bag is worked in a few parts. Now we'll begin at the base of the bag, and then we've got the two sides, side 1 and side 2 on either side, and then right at the top we have the top edging, and then we'll finish off the bag with the straps and these drawstrings. So we've got the straps and the drawstrings to complete the bag. Let's start off with the base of the bag. So you'll form a slip knot, and now we're using the base color yarn. So you'll form that slip knot. Then it's chain 49. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Continue to 49 chains. I've continued on working those 49 chains across round 1 of the base into the 4th chain from the hook, double crochet. So if you count your chains, 1, 2, 3, and here's my 4th chain. To work a double crochet, it's yarn over, insert your hook into that chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2 loops on the hook. You continue on working double crochets into all these chains to the end of the round. Continued on, completing round 1, working those double crochets all across. Round 2, chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. Here we're working double crochets into all stitches all across. Continue with those double crochets to the end of the round. I've continued on working the base of the bag, which is part 1 of the tutorial, and all I've done here was repeat round 2, which was chain 2, turn, and double crochet all stitches. So I've repeated round 2 for rounds 3 to round 11. So in total, if we count here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rounds in total. And this base measures it just measures almost 12 inches, which is 30 centimeters in length, and in the width it measures almost 5 inches, which is 13 centimeters. So that's what the base measures at the moment. So we'll move on to part 2 of the tutorial, which is the side one of the bag. So the bag has 2 sides, and this is the first side of the bag. So continuing from where we had stopped, it's chain 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So make certain that you have 13 chains, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. Into that last chain you can fasten off. And you'll just pull it tight to close on that last stitch. Now you'll turn your piece over. You're working on the opposite side. So here you've got your chain here. You'll attach your yarn to that first stitch on that side. Bring in your yarn. Pull through. On this side you will chain 15. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Make certain that you have 15 chains. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 15. So round 1 of part 2, you can turn and into the 4th chain from the hook, double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 into that 4th chain, double crochet. Continue working double crochets into the remaining chains. make certain that you have 13 stitches just from working those stitches into the chain. Then you continue on by working your stitches into the stitches along the base. So you'll continue on with double crochets, working your way to the end of the round, which is right at the end of this chain that we had worked at the beginning. So it's all the way across, right to the end. I've completed round 1 of part 2. Now I've worked all those double crochets all the way across. So at this point you will make certain that you have 73 stitches. And if you count your stitches, right at the start you should have your 13 stitches. And then this number of stitches along the base that we had continued from must remain the same, which was 47 stitches, and on the other side we should have 13 stitches. So the total number of stitches here add up to 73 stitches. Round 2 of part 2, it's chain 2, 1, 2, turn, and here we're working double crochets all across. So you continue with those double crochets to the end of the round. I've completed round 2 working those double crochets all across. At all times make certain that your stitch count remains on 73 stitches. Round 3, chain 2 and turn. Now here we're working our polka dots pattern. I've already got my lengths of yarn all prepared, so it's ready to go. Into the next 5 stitches, work 5 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with that last stitch, the 5th stitch, I will leave it unfinished. So by that I mean I haven't worked my last yarn over and pulling that yarn through the 2 loops on the hook. As you can see, I've got the last 2 loops still remaining on my hook. So I'm bringing my change of color on that length of yarn, and I'll sort of bring it through that hook and pull it through to complete my last stitch. So here I have my change of color. Then at all times I'm keeping the tail end of the yarn that I've stopped working with at the back, so it's on the wrong side, and I'll work with this change of color. So with the change of color, into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. So here we go with our first double crochet, then it's our second, and for our third double crochet I'll leave it unfinished with 2 loops on the hook. I'll go back, I'll push the tail end of this change of color at the back, always keeping it on the wrong side. I'll go back, bring in my original color, yarn it through to complete that last stitch. So into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets in your base color. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So always when I'm changing yarn for the last stitch, I will leave that unfinished with 2 loops on the hook, and I'll finish it in the change of color. So I can go ahead, pick up on my next color. Here goes. And then just as I had done with that first change of color, I'll just fold it a little and I'll bring it through to complete my last stitch. Now I'll keep all those tail ends at the back and I'll continue on. So with this change of color, into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. I'll push that tail end of this change of color to the back, always keeping the tail ends at the back on the wrong side. I'll pick up on my original color, and at no point have I cut off my yarn, the tail ends. I'm just continuing with that original color, bringing it forward from the back. So I'll complete the stitch with that original color. So the pattern is for round 1. It's into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets in the base color. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the last stitch, I'll leave it unfinished. I'll go on and pick up my next change of color. Also, the thing to remember is when I'm working with these change of colors, I will not pick up on it again in this round. So I'm keeping this tail end and I've left it unworked, and then I've got my next change of color. Here's the tail end unworked, because we will use these tail ends in round 4 and round 5, and that will complete the polka dot stitch pattern. So here I go with my next length of yarn in the change of color, and I'll bring it through to complete the stitch. Keep all those tail ends at the back, and then it's into the next 3 stitches with the change of color, work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then into that last stitch, I'll leave it unfinished. I'll go back, pick up on my original color to complete that stitch. So you continue on with the stitch pattern. It's 9 double crochets in the base color and 3 double crochets in the change of color to the end of the round. I've continued on with round 3, and here I am. I've worked the start of my last polka dot for that round. So I've already changed my yarn back to the base color, and I have 4 stitches remaining. Into those 4 stitches, I'll work 4 double crochets to complete the round. That was 3, and here's my last stitch. Round 4, chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. We're now working on the wrong side. Into the next 2 stitches, work 2 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and that last stitch, I'll leave it unfinished. I'll keep the tail end on the wrong side, which is to the front now, because we are working on the wrong side, and I'll pick up on that tail end of my first polka dot that I'm working. So I'll take that tail end and pull it through these 2 loops on my hook to complete the stitch. And then into the next 4 stitches, work 4 double crochets in the change of color. So always keeping the tail ends on the wrong side. So I'll go there and I'll work my first stitch in the change of color. That was 1, then it's 2, 3, 4. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. I'll pick up on my original color, bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 8 stitches, work 8 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll leave that stitch unfinished. I'll pick up on my next change of color and I'll bring it through to complete the stitch. So then into the next 4 double crochets, into the next 4 stitches, work 4 double crochets in this change of color. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. I'll go back, pick up on my original base color and bring that through those 2 loops on the hook to complete the stitch. So the pattern is into the next 8 stitches, work 8 double crochets in the base color. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Leave that last stitch unfinished. Go back and pick up on your change of color. So bring that through to complete the stitch, and then it's into the next 4 stitches, work 4 double crochets with the change of color. So you'll continue on with the stitch pattern to the end of the round. So it's 8 double crochets in the base color and 4 double crochets in the change of color. I've continued on with round 4, and here I am right at the end of round 4. I've worked my last polka dot, those 4 stitches in the change of color. So to complete the round, into the next 6 stitches, work 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Round 5, chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. Now we're back on the right side. So into the next 5 stitches, work 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. I'll go back, pick up on my change of color from behind, bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished, leaving all my tail ends at the back. I'll go back, pick up on my original color, bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. go back, pick up on my next change of color, bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 3 stitches with the change of color, work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, leave the last stitch unfinished, go back, pick up on my base color, bring it through to complete the stitch. So the stitch pattern for round 5 is 9 double crochets in the base color and 3 double crochets in the change of color. Continue to the end of the round. I've continued on with round 5, and here you see right at the end, after my last polka dot, I worked 4 double crochets into those 4 remaining stitches. Now, when you count the number of polka dots I have, and if you've been working according to my stitch count, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 polka dots complete. Then I worked round 6, round 7, and round 8, which was chain 2, turn, double crochet all stitches. So for these rounds, it's just working double crochets all across. Round 9, chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. We'll now continue on with round 9. So for round 9, okay, we've stopped round 8 on the wrong side, and I've just orientated that correctly again. So for round 9, we'll begin with a change of color for our first polka dot. So you'll pick up on your next change of color, the length of yarn, and you'll bring that through. Then in that change of color, you'll chain 2. So 1, 2, and turn. So now we're working round 9 on the right side. Into the next 2 stitches, work 2 double crochets in this change of color. So that's 1 and 2. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. I'll go back and I'll pick up on my base color. I'll bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll leave the last stitch unfinished. I'll go on and pick up my next change of color. So here's the next length of yarn. I'll bring it through to complete that last stitch. Here goes. And then into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3. I'll leave that unfinished. Go back and pick up on my base color to complete the stitch. So the pattern for this round is into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets. Then it's a change of color. Into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. And you continue on with the stitch pattern to the end of the round. I've continued on with round 9, and I've worked the last polka dot, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I had 10 stitches remaining. Into those 10 stitches, I worked 10 double crochets. So round 10, it's chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. We're now working on the wrong side. Into the next 8 stitches, work 8 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'll go ahead and pick up on this change of color from my first polka dot, keeping all those tail ends to the front because we're working on the wrong side. Then I'll complete that stitch with my change of color into the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, work 4 double crochets, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll change back to my original color, complete the stitch with my original color. So my stitch pattern for this round is into the next 8 stitches, work 8 double crochets in the base color, then it's a change of color into the next 4 stitches, work 4 double crochets. So you'll continue on with that stitch pattern to the end of the round. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'll leave that unfinished. Pick up on my next change of color, bring that through to complete the stitch, and then it's 4 double crochets in that change of color. I've continued on with round 10 and I've worked the last 4 stitches in that change of color. So now I'm continuing on with my change of color. Round 11, it's chain 2, 1, 2, and turn. We're now on the right side. So here with my change of color, I'll work 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So that's 1, 2. I'll leave that last stitch unfinished. I'll pick up on my base color, bring that through to complete the stitch. Then into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll leave that stitch unfinished. Go back, pick up on that change of color from my next polka dot, bring it through to complete the stitch. Into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets in this change of color. 1, 2, and 3. Leave that unfinished, go back, pick up on my base color, bring that through to complete the stitch. So my stitch pattern is with my base color into the next 9 stitches, work 9 double crochets, and then with my change of color into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets, and you'll continue to the end of the round. I've continued on. So for round 11, at the end of the last change of color for my last polka dot, I had 10 stitches remaining. Into those 10 stitches, I worked 10 double crochets. Now, if you look at the number of polka dots I have for round 9, 10, and 11, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And at all times, my stitch count remained the same on 73 stitches. I then worked round 12, round 13, and round 14. So for those 3 rounds, it was just chain 2, turn, and double crochet all stitches. I've continued on with the pattern And here you see that I've repeated round 3 to round 14 once more. So in total for part 2, I have worked to round 26. So if we count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So you should have 26 rounds in total for the second part. Now, if I take that measurement of what the side measures, it's just around 12 inches or 30 centimeters. Once you've completed that, you can fasten off, preferably leaving behind a long enough tail to help with the seaming. You can cut off the excess yarn. We'll now work the third part, which is the side 2. So for that, you'll turn your piece around, and on this side, right at the first stitch, so it's that second chain from chain 2, is where I'll attach my yarn. And then it's chain 13. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then you'll fasten off and cut off the excess. So exactly what we've done for the first side is what we'll do for the side. And now I'll turn my piece, and on the opposite side, right here into that last stitch, I'll attach yarn again. And on this side, it's a chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we'll continue on with the pattern just as we had done for the first side. It was for round 1. We'll continue on from that chain 15, and it's into the 4th chain. We'll double crochet, and we'll double crochet all the way to the end, also making certain that at the end of round 1 our stitch count remains the same on 73 stitches. Then you'll just repeat round 2 to round 26 until you have exactly the same as the first side that we had already worked. I've completed side 2. Here you see the base, side 1 and side 2. I then fastened off and cut off the excess yarn. So that completes the bulk of the drawstring bag. I've chosen not to weave in all the ends. Instead, I have gone ahead and secured them by knotting them, like so. These ends will be covered by a lining, and this is how I secured the ends. Now place your piece on top of the lining, laid out flat. Cut the lining, leaving the lining 3 inches or 8 centimeters longer on both the ends, and around the sides leave a seam allowance. I have left 3/4 of an inch or 1,5 centimeters seam allowance, as you see here. We will now stitch the lining. Fold the lining in half at the base. Stitch along the sides of the lining. So on either of the sides, that's where you will stitch. Now I've gone ahead and done that by machine. So I've used my sewing machine to stitch both those ends. I've stitched along both of the sides of the lining. Now to stitch the squared bottom edges. Pick up on the lining, matching the edges as I'm doing here. Stitch along that straightened edge. For the other bottom edge, do the same, matching the edges and then stitching along the straightened edge. Now that the lining is all seamed up, we'll move on to the bag itself. Now to seam the bag, you'll fold the piece in half at the base, just as you had done for the lining. And then using your yarn needle and yarn, making certain that your bag faces right sides in. And then you'll stitch along the 2 sides of the bag. Continue all the way to the top edge, and then you'll do the other side. I've seamed along both the sides. Now for the squared off bottom edges. Pick up on the piece, matching the edges as I've done here. Seam along the straightened edge. Continue to the end. And then you will do the same on the other side, matching edges, and then you'll seam along that straightened edge. I've seamed the bag at the sides and at the bottom edges. We will now insert the lining. Turn the piece to the right side out. Insert the lining, wrong side facing out. Fold along the top edge of the lining to neaten that edge and hide the raw edges. Seam to join the top edges of lining and the bag. You will see in the next clip, I did let the lining sort of pop out a little above the bag. I've pinned the lining into place before seaming. I chose to hand stitch with a needle and thread. Notice that I'm stitching along the second round and not the top edge or the first round. Continue all the way around to secure the lining to the bag. The lining is now in place. We'll move on to the top edge of the bag where we will work in the round. Attach yarn to the top edge. Round 1, chain 2, double crochet all around the top edge of the bag. I've worked my way to the end of round 1 of the top edge. Here I am right at the end. So to complete the round, it's into the second chain from chain 2, slip stitch to join. Round 2, chain 2 and turn. Into the next 3 stitches, work 3 double crochets. That was 1, 2 and my 3rd stitch. Then it's chain 1, skip 1 into the next stitch, double crochet. Into the next 2 stitches, work 2 double crochets. Then it's chain 1, skip 1, into the next stitch, double crochet. So here we have 3 double crochets, and then it's chain 1, skip 1, and then it's 3 double crochets. And you'll continue on with this stitch pattern, working the 3 double crochets, chain 1, skip 1 to the end of the round. I've worked my way to the end of round 2. So to complete the round, you can slip stitch into that second chain from chain 2 to join. Round 3, chain 2 and turn. Here we're working double crochets throughout the round, so it will be 1 double crochet into every double crochet from the round before, and 1 double crochet into the chain 1 spaces. Like here, I'm at a chain 1 space, so I'll work 1 double crochet into that space. And then it's 1 double crochet into each stitch. Continue to the end of the round. I've continued on completing round 3, and then I worked round 4 and round 5, which was just chain 2, turn, and I worked double crochets all around. For my last round, that top edging, it's chain 2 and turn. Into the same stitch from where that chain 2 comes out of, work 2 double crochets. That was 1, and here's the second. Then it's skip 3 stitches. Into the next stitch, work 5 double crochets. So it's 5 double crochets all into 1 stitch. Here's my third one, and then the 4th, and now the 5th. Then it's skip 3 stitches into the next stitch, work 5 double crochets. Continue with the stitch pattern, skipping 3 stitches, and into the next stitch work 5 double crochets to the end of the round. I've worked my way to the end of round 6. And here I am. Well, I've got 4 stitches remaining, so I'm going to complete the round by working 2 double crochets into that last stitch. And then to slip stitch into the second chain from chain 2 to join. You can then fasten off and cut off the excess yarn. We'll now work the straps. Decide on the placement of the straps mark off with stitch markers as I've done here. Now you'll mark off on both sides. I've gone ahead and worked one of the straps. Here you see it, and that's what we'll be working for the straps. So the other side of the strap, I'll attach it to my second stitch marker. Make sure that the spacing between the stitch markers on both the sides are the same. Now for the strap. So I'm working the one side and you'll do the same on both the sides. At the stitch marker where you've decided on the placement of the strap, we will work the strap into 5 of these posts. So here's the 5, and that's the post of the stitch. That is where we'll begin our strap. So you'll attach yarn to the post of the stitch. Bring it through, and then it's chain 1. Now here we're working single crochets. So that's chain 1 into the next post. Work a single crochet. So then into the third post, work a single crochet. Into the fourth post, you'll do the same, work a single crochet. And lastly, into that fifth post, you'll work a single crochet. So for our strap, we have 5 stitches. Round 2, chain 1 and turn. Work a single crochet into that same stitch from where chain 1 comes out of. Into the next 4 stitches, work single crochets. Round 3, chain 1 and turn. Into that same stitch from where chain 1 comes out of, work a single crochet. Work single crochets into the next 4 stitches. You'll continue working those 5 single crochets across until you have the required length of your straps. So you can make it as long or as short as you'd like it to be. I then fastened off and I cut off the excess yarn, leaving behind a long enough tail to help seam the strap onto the bag. Make certain that the strap is not twisted, and you place the second end of the strap at the second stitch marker. And using your yarn needle and that tail end, secure the strap onto the bag by seaming. you can fasten off and loose that tail end in between the bag itself and the lining. Fasten off on all the ends and loose those tail ends in between the bag and the lining. You will do the same on the other side with the straps. I've worked the straps on both sides. We will now work these drawstrings that I've weaved into the bag at the chain 1 spaces. We'll now work the drawstring, and for this we're forming a cord. So you need a long enough tail end. The tail end measures approximately 100 inches or 2,45 meters. So you'll form a slip knot, leaving behind that long tail end. Now here you see I'm taking that tail end and popping it to the other side of the hook. So to form this cord, wrap the tail end over the hook. Then holding that little point for support, it's pull up a loop and go through all the loops on the hook. So wrap the tail end, pull up the loop and go through 2 loops on the hook. So you'll wrap the tail end and pull through 2 loops on the hook. So you continue working the cord in this manner until your cord is long enough, or until that entire tail end has been used up. Now I've completed my cord for the drawstring, and right at the end I just knotted to fasten off. Now to form the tassels at the end of the drawstring, I measured 6 inches of the length of yarn. So that's 6 inches or 15 centimeters. I then folded the yarn to that length. So I folded it about 6 times. You don't want to do this too many times, because the thicker it becomes, the more difficult it is to thread into the cord. Now you'll take a larger hook and you'll insert it into that edge of the cord. and then fold your lengths of yarn in half and pull that length through the cord, the edge of the cord. Once it's through, that little loop that you see, you need to get in all those ends through that loop. This sort of secures the tassel to the cord. You can then neaten up on these tassels, and then you'll cut the edges to straighten up on those edges. Now you'll do the same on the other side. I've worked 2 of these drawstrings for both the sides. So you'll take your drawstring and weave it into those chain 1 spaces. Now that your drawstring is in place, you can go ahead and weave in all these ends. So with your yarn needle, you take those tail ends and you'll weave them through the stitches until you get to the lining, and then you lose them in between your crochet bag and the lining. So I noticed that the straps needed a bit more support. So what I did was I stitched along those top edges of the straps, and I'll show you how to do that on the other side. Get your straps into place, and right at the top edge with your needle and thread, you can stitch along that top edge. Now nothing shows through. This needle and the thread that I'm using is really thin. It's the normal sewing thread, so nothing shows through. It just helps securing that band into place. So you can go ahead and fasten up on those straps, all 4 of them. And that completes this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.